Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, including Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, and Rick and Morty. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hello.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing the latest episode of Rick and Morty, Interdimensional Cable 2, Tempting Fate.
Longest title ever.
Is this a movie reference? I assume. I mean, it's kind of just, it's just lampshading that it's a sequel to a previous episode.
I think that's the only.
It may or may not be a movie reference. Most of these titles are. So yeah, we'll be going over that. As always, our Rick and Morty podcast may not be suitable for younger audiences, although the other shows we cover mostly are. And you can find everything about us at overlyanimated.com. Hi, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can subscribe to us on there. I'm posting all the podcasts on YouTube now. I think
air quotes,
watching. We'll have video content at some point. We're either Overly Animated Podcast or OVA Podcast or something on YouTube. So I'm glad I know it. The link is on overlyanimated.com, the website. So yeah, let's get into Interdimensional Cable 2 Tempting Fate. Delaney, what did you think of this episode?
I really liked it. We talked about before, we're like, oh my god, I'm so tired of Jerry and Beth, make it stop, but I'm always a fan of Jerry hate episodes. And also, like, I was laughing the entire time, like, the humor beats were just so good, and the gags, and just, the TV before was really funny anyway, and so of course we just did it again, and I don't know, a lot of the jokes I just really appreciated.
Yeah, this is a pseudo sequel to Rick's Minutes from last season, where they just did the same thing of Rick sets up the interdimensional cable, and then Justin Roiland goes into the recording booth and improvs fake TV shows basically, and that's the entire episode. So that was the A plot of this, and Justin Roiland's very funny. This is good. Like, some of these are hits, some of these are misses. We'll go over which are our favorites, the fake TV shows. Overall, it's funny. I can't help but think this is almost a little bit of a waste of an episode of Rick and Morty. Like, we only have 10 slots here this season for what could be the smartest show on TV. And, like, the show is normally so funny and so clever, that this episode is clearly not living up to the levels of at the very least humor, and probably also just, critical quality that Rick and Morty usually achieves.
And we don't really play with any sci-fi concepts here either.
Yeah, like, it's not spoofing anything cleverly.
It's like Space Hospital.
I mean, the B-plot does, and I'm glad we have the B-plot included. It falls under the same problems of Beth and Jerry B-plots being overused this season. This was good. It was interesting, the B-plot. We needed a stronger A-plot to anchor this B-plot, though, I think. But overall, I did think it was funny and enjoyable. I just wonder whether whether we would have gotten a better episode if they hadn't chosen to done the improv thing again, right?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit unfair to me to say. This show is probably exhausting to make, but at the same time, as with many people, I really love this show, and I want the best from it. I don't think this is quite the best. Like, I think this is one of the lower tiered episodes this season.
I mean, it's the sequel, and
sequels never live up to their original. I don't remember Rick's Minutes well enough to judge right now. AV Club reviewer Zach Handlin said that's his favorite episode of the show. So I don't know. It definitely wasn't as integral to that episode as it was to this one, the improv stuff, right?
I do feel like, but I did feel like, I don't know, the jokes in this one, like, I don't know, the shows were more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, you said you were laughing whole way through. Did you think all of the shows were, like, genuinely funny?
Not all of them. Like,
do you think most of them, though?
Most of them were funny. Yes.
Okay, I thought it was maybe like 30% were like. All of them had at least one laugh, right? But then there's like a few that were really good, and then the rest I think fell a little short. And we'll go over which ones. It's obviously going to be subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we want to talk the improv stuff first or the B plot first? Probably, I don't know. Just the concept of the episode. Jerry's going into the hospital. We saw it last week in the preview, right? The mutant bacteria in a can of Cherry Garcia. That's still a funny line, right?
It's so good.
Technically, the second freezer drawer is mine. It's still good.
No, it's not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, it was really funny. I like that.
We didn't see.
Like, of course, he has bacteria in like the freezer.
Yeah. And then we get that at the end again too. I like that they call back to that. That's good. That the stinger, for how short like the stinger is, it's pretty clever and ties a lot of things together. We didn't see Dr. Glipglop though from the preview, who's apparently the best doctor in what is it, the universe, and
In the universe.
and then he gets sprayed by the thing, and then Rick goes on a rant about how he probably wasn't the best doctor. Everyone claims to have the best pizza. Have you ever been to a pizza contest? Right? Yeah, that was good.
That's so good. Yeah, that was a really good one.
I probably remarked that before. So
And that was another good one. I mean, we play with a lot of like sci-fi jokes. We just don't have an overall sci-fi concept.
yeah, well, I think the B plot is kind of a sci-fi concept. The transplant.
Yeah,
Type
but I don't
thing.
know. Like, well, the thing is, like, the only difference is that, like, I mean, obviously, like, that doesn't happen, like, in real life, but, like, the concept of just having a transplant, the only difference is that they're aliens.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
think
to me,
that
it wasn't anything special.
I think
The
there is.
prosthetic was
Okay,
scary.
yeah. So I think there is a concept. It just doesn't really do anything super clever with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think it's fine though, because
It's like, it's Space Hospital.
I
Like, it's
mean,
nothing.
there were some notable things about the B plot, and we'll get into that. Yeah. Back to that pizza contest thing. One thing I think I had the random thought. The show is like normally you'd expect a comedy show to take like the more clever things like you've said. Like I've said, I've probably said that like pizza contest thing, like the
Yeah.
best pizza. Normally you'd expect a comedy show to like take like the cleverest lines that you could come up with and then just play those as the jokes. And it's like, oh, that's a good show. In this show, it like takes the cleverest things you can come up with, and that's like purposely dumb things to say, right? Like
Yes.
that wasn't like that's not functioning as like a punchline. It's kind of just this glib thing that Rick is saying.
Great.
Yeah, so it's like the show is way smarter than we are in normal life. Is my
Yes,
point. Yeah,
It's so smarter.
yeah. Okay, so let's get into smarter. Okay, so let's get into
So smart.
the
Exactly, proving my point.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or not. Let's go with it was. Let's get into the various shows from the Interdimensional Cable. Off the top of your head, we'll put the B plot off for a little bit. Which was your favorite fake show this time?
Well, the one that just stood out to me the most was the How It's Made parody.
Really, why does that stand out to you the most?
I watch How It's Made so much, and like when they did the Alien How It's Made, I got so excited. And then it was so funny because like they had a plumbus like in the episode.
Yeah, they
and
had
they
it
were like,
before,
How
yeah.
It's Made. It's just so funny, and like it makes no sense. And then it was also like really sexual. It was just really funny. Like we don't even know what this thing does, and it's like How It's Made, but it's really funny because that's how It's Made works. Like you might like if you're watching a How It's Made episode. And like there's three things, they'll make three things, and you might actually have used one of those things, and the other two are like, this is kind of neat, but you have like no idea what it does, or it's some like really random object that you don't care how it's made. I just thought it was really funny, like just
Nice. Yeah, interesting. I haven't watched How It's Made before, so that didn't
I
stand out
watch
to
How
me at
It's
all.
Made religiously, and it was very funny because it was exactly how it's made. Like that's exactly how the show works.
Okay.
It was really well done.
See, that's interesting. I thought that was one of the weaker ones, but I guess it's just which parodies of shows you understand, right?
Yeah,
which one.
in context, what do you think is entertaining?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for me, I don't know. There's like three, I think. Let's go with, and then we'll get to the other ones later. This time I saw the first time I watched it twice now. I think this time the one that stood out to me most was led to the Siamese twins having the separate show. The
Yeah, that was
opposite
good.
news was the first one. Yeah, I don't know. That was just improving that seems really good. Like I don't think I would ever be able to improv that. In obviously never improv any of this, but like that's really
Michael
it
and
seems
Michael.
scripted. That one does. Michael and Pikel, right?
Yeah.
You wonder how much they touch it up later, but if that was all one take, like, oh wow.
Like, incredible.
Yeah, okay, let's go through all of them. First, we have Man versus Car, which is...
I did think it was funny. It's so stupid.
It was really dumb. This was one of the funnier ones. It's not one of my, like, top three, I guess, but...
It reminds me of Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah. I guess it's... I don't know if
Which,
it's
like-
specifically parodying that or something.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know, but like I mean, I used to watch a lot of Celebrity Deathmatch, and it was just really funny.
A lot of these are, like, pretty reliant on, like, terribly graphic, violent things happening.
Yes,
Like that.
which is really funny because later Summer.
Yeah, then Summer goes on that whole thing,
So
and then
good.
Morty rants about it. Yeah, I guess the biggest laugh is when the guy gets run over, and
Yeah. Like,
and then,
obviously,
I mean, wouldn't the
was
cars
going to
always
win.
win, right? Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
one of the announcers says at the end. Yeah, so I thought this one was good. It's a good baseline to go off of. It's not super
Yeah.
clever, but yeah, also interesting concept to come up with. The second one was the eye holes one, which is super weird.
That was so great. I really liked it.
I don't know how you come up with this one. You've 2 eye holes, 8 eye holes. Look through my eye holes, and they like stare at each other. Yeah.
So weird.
And then Eye Hole Man comes down, and the eye holes turn out to be cereal. Like,
I really like it though because like cereal commercials are weird. Like there are some really weird cereal commercials, and like 'cause you always have some weird cartoon character. Like this is like this is messed up tricks in Lucky Charms, and it's great.
yeah, if you think about it, this is like basically
Kool-Aid
tricks,
Man.
right? Or yeah.
Yeah, it's basically tricks. And like the Kool-Aid Man who like busts through busts through the wall.
Yeah, they're delicious. Beth says, "I can't believe you're explaining alien cereal."
That's
Yeah.
really good.
What? That this. I don't know if it was this the weirdest one. Maybe it was.
I liked it.
Okay, next is I like how some of them tie to them watching what's going on
Yeah.
outside. Like the next one is Morty notices the woman who looks like Worf from Star Trek, and then How Did I Get Here comes on TV, and she's on top of a streetlight.
So great.
And how did she get here?
Yeah.
And then the
Like,
laugh
it's
is
so
them
stupid.
like noticing it, right?
Yeah.
And,
And then it's really funny if you watch like the guy on the TV's like looking at them. Like,
yeah, he like his eyes move as they're talking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, and Rick like actually looks baffled. Like,
like what?
is
Stay away from
is
the
that
coffee
something we should be concerned about? Just stay away from the coffee machine. Yeah.
Yeah, just stay away. I liked it.
I like the concept of alien TV, just like actually relating to the people watching it. Like I feel like that
Yes.
should be a thing that exists
Definitely.
more. I don't think alien TV makes sense in general, but if it was going to be a
Well,
real
it's
thing,
alien TV. It's not supposed to make sense.
well, the very concept of alien higher life forms having television, I don't think makes sense. But if
yeah,
they're
right.
going to, then I feel like it should actually interact with the viewer. So I think that's good.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I'm glad we
makes
logicked
sense.
that one out. Yeah.
We logicked that one out.
Okay,
Yes.
this is one of my big 3. This is the Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh yes, this one.
Jan Quadrant Vincent 16 movie trailer. In a world where there's 8 Jan Michael Vincents and 16 quadrants. And then he can't be in 2 quadrants at once. And then it just goes on this whole thing. My favorite, which I think this show's actually done this before, is Morty's like, is it important that we know who Jan Michael Vincent is in order to get this? No, this reminds me of something earlier this season. I love
We
this.
literally had this.
We had this same joke, yeah. Because I love that it's like parodying the audience not understanding a reference. Because the show just throws out random dumb old movie references, and sometimes it's like, do I need to understand this to get this episode? Yeah, so that's basically
Well,
what
this
they're doing.
time Rick like said something, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah," and he's like, "I just made that up."
Oh yeah, and then I just made that
Don't
up
be
too.
sheep.
Yeah, that's the same joke. Yeah, I like the concept enough to do it again, so that's good.
Yes.
Also, just this is like the perfect. This is I think the quintessential improv, fake show commercial thing. Like this was great. It's time to
always do
Michael
really good
this January. It's time to Michael
good.
down your Vincents. Yeah.
That was really good.
The-
And I also just enjoy like over the top action movie like parodies because they're all the same.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's just great quality.
This is like
all the time.
post-apocalyptic sci-fi parody, right? This
Literally
is,
every
This is
movie.
kind of Hunger Games, but it's also like a Tom Cruise movie, and yeah.
Or like well, it's kind of like not RoboCop, but they've already made a reference to this. It was like it's like Total Recall and like RoboCop and all
Okay.
those mixed
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's very 80s sci-fi.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Moonbeam City plug.
It might be.
I don't think so.
know.
No. You should watch that show. That show is
I
very
just
good.
yes, I'm just too on top of the 80s right now.
Yeah,
I have too much experience with the 80s.
that's
media.
good considering you weren't alive in the 80s, but that's
I
okay.
know, right? It's incredible.
It's this one also had like the highest production values. They like genuinely made a really good looking trailer, so I really like
Yes.
that. This is one of my big ones. Next
Oh wait, my other favorite's coming up in a minute.
Okay. Next is
I'll say.
Adventures of Steely.
So it's it's Mr. Poopy Pants, right?
Is it Mr. Poopy? I don't think it's Mr.
Butthole-
Poopy Pants.
Poopy
Mr.
Butthole,
Poopy
that's what I-
Butthole. I don't think
That's
so.
what I thought it was.
It might be him. I don't know. Maybe
He
it's.
looks this.
I feel like they have a lot of things that look like things. I don't. So.
we have a lot of things. That look
But
like
it's not
things.
Mr. Poopy. He's Steely. They say it's Adventures of Steely. He's Steely.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
he's Mr. Poopy Butthole. That's
Okay,
what
he goes around and steals stuff from the office, and then he goes into the boss, and then he kills him, and then he carries him around, and he goes to the safe room where the people he stole stuff from can't find him. And then he lays his stuff out and sells how many gramples they're each worth.
That was really funny. I really liked it.
How did Justin Roiland remember the plumbus from this? Because that's where we see the plumbus is originally in this one.
Yes.
Because he just keeps making up words. So why do you remember the plumbus in this one?
Well, I mean, plumbus is kind of a funny word, so...
My highlight was how many gramples it was,
No, that was... Well, my favorite part of that was, like, the gramples looked different every time.
Did they? I didn't notice that.
Yes, like, the symbols from the gramples, like, at first, it looked like a grample, like, it was like a grape and an apple, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. And then, like, no, it just, like, kept getting weirder shapes, and it made no sense. It was great.
Yeah. And it was... The gag is there's, like, all these fake things, and then it was just, like, crushed party cups, right?
Yes.
That was the last one. Yeah. What did you think of this one?
I really liked it. Like, I just thought it was funny because, like, one, it's like made up. It's like a math problem. Like, they like make up things like 3 whatever.
It's like a math problem.
Like, you know, you have 3 thingamajigs, and they make up like.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god! Anyway, someone out there will understand. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, like
stealing The Price is Right.
Stealing The Price is Right. Okay, my biggest thing for this was when he like chloroforms the guy and then just carries him around. That was good for me.
And like the really upbeat music.
Yeah, I don't know. Not one of my 3, but you know this is still fine. Next we have funny songs, where the comedian improvs a song about he asks the guy in the audience. He says he's a tax attorney, and then he just does. You know, it's like he's improving a comedian improving a song here.
Yes. Which is that kind of Inception.
I guess. I mean, we're familiar with that with the show. I guess, yeah. And then they kill the guy at the end, right? So that's great.
Yeah.
This was the one that took me out of it the most. This was just like very obviously improv from Justin Roiland to me, and I didn't think it was particularly funny.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was funny. Like I say, it's funny because they killed him, but like that was like the weird part. Like
you mean it's like weird, right? No, it's funny. It's like that's a funny situation, right? It's not like
yeah. Yeah, I'm not like, haha, he died. It was just what?
Well, I guess that was the funniest part of it. I don't know. Just talking about Jesus and Muhammad and I don't know. It was just obviously nonsensical.
So
and I don't know. This is like.
I mean, it's funny and like it's the bad comedian kind of funny, but like.
I guess.
I didn't really think it was that great either. I was like, can we move on from this one?
Yeah, I agree. Also went on to one. Little Bits.
This one's so good.
Why is this one so good? What did you like about Little Bits?
Great. It's just Little Bits. It's so great.
With these giant-headed guys.
Yeah, these giant-headed people, and like they have little mouths, and they get to have little food, and I don't know, like they just kept running with it, and it was great. Like it was I don't know, just all of it, just as a whole, was incredible. And then at the end, where he's like, "Eat shit," and he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." Like it was just so like. It was just really great.
That was so dickish at the end with that guy, though.
So great. Like, just the entire concept is so, like, I don't know, I just really loved it. And then, like, I don't know, it was just, like, it was real, like, I have literally seen this restaurant commercial.
Okay.
We all have.
Okay.
And they just took this great concept of, like, these people who, like, can't eat, like, large things. It was just funny. I just loved it.
Interesting. The only laugh from this one for me was the little people, and it was just kids.
that was good.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of this, but that's interesting. Okay. I like that we're finding different ones good. A little bit. That was, at the very least, this one was like, obviously, like, parodying a TV thing, and it was kind of interesting. But I still didn't get that much. Next is Opposite News, which we talked about a little bit. Michael Thompson, and then Morty's like, why is his body slipping off to the left like that, right? Or to the right? And then there's cooking. Then they changed the channel, Cooking Things with Michael Thompson. And why is his body slipping off to the left? And then they're Siamese twins, and then they start fighting with each other. And then Morty's like, change back to the other one, and then it's just off screen.
It's so good. Well, what I really like about it is like the argument they get into, because he's like, clearly they liked him, but Michael, they had that one picked out for months.
Yeah, before he got pregnant, then it's like, oh shit, fuck it, let's just call him Michael. Yeah.
I just thought that It's really funny.
And Summer's like, why are they recording their shows at the same time? And Rick's like, they must save so much on production, yeah.
Well, it was so great because like I wasn't even thinking that. Like, I was like, Summer, that's such a good point.
It's a good idea, yeah.
I was just so stunned.
They both are recording live shows because theoretically they would not leave this edited in
right.
to the recording. So,
man, so good.
I also the opposite. Like what I like about this one is it's obviously starting with a different concept because it's just the opposite news. So it's like something about the Pope did not do this.
The Pope didn't die today.
Yeah. So and then I feel like he pivots halfway, and it just gets somewhere even better with it. So I don't know. I love this one from Justin. Yeah. Next was the Plumbus, which we talked about. How do they do it? It's so good. Yeah. So you want to talk more about this one?
It's just. Like, if anyone's, like, watched how it's made, like, that's why this is so good. And, like, it's really funny because the whole process is weird. And, like, all the thing, like, and, you know, they keep having made up words, and even the guy, like, the narrator sounds confused. Like, if you watch how it's made, this is exactly how the show works. And it was just really great. Like,
even the narrator sounds confused? Is that how that works on that show?
I mean, sometimes you're like, the narrator's like, what? It's so great. And they switched narrator. It was really top quality, and I really enjoyed it.
And then Rick's like, I always wondered how Columbus got made.
Yeah, no, it just is so good. Like, this is one of the good, like, this isn't like a sci-fi concept, but I really like this concept, and they took it, and I love it.
Nice, okay. Next is my...
the weirdest one.
Next is my third out of three favorites.
Really?
One. Yeah, I love it.
The
personal space show. This is the one that like stands out the most. I feel like this might be the winner in the clubhouse, like in terms of fan reaction.
Well, this is the one when you were like earlier when you said this was the one that brought me out. This is the one I was like, what am I watching?
No, I was like that, but it was like I was totally into it. It was the opposite of the other one, right?
I mean, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I really liked it at the end. Like somewhere in the middle, they lost me, but then they got me back at the end.
He lost you during the slideshow, much like they lost everyone in the audience. They showed the audience reaction, and then this one guy gets up and leaves as he's listing off the reasons of personal space. And there's one
that was
really,
also really fun,
and there's one
ass, and that was really fun.
Yeah, there's whatever that design was.
It was
interesting. Then there's one really enthralled audience member who's like really into the slideshow.
And he's like moving, he's like doing, is it like a workout show? That's what I thought it was at first because he did the movement every time.
No, I don't think
that's... like, what am I watching? And like, the guy was doing it with him, and I was like, what?
I'm really disappointed because personalspaceshow.com is not loading right now, and that was very much on the screen. So I was hoping that this was an actual thing, but it is not. Maybe like we overloaded it. I don't know. But yeah, so these guys just ranting about his personal space. Who's around me right now? And then no one is. And then he does the slideshow. And then I love personal space so much, I'm not interested in having the skin on my personal space. And then he just starts, it's incredible. And he starts flaying himself. Oh my God.
He just rips his skin off.
It's great. That was the biggest laugh of me of the episode. I loved that. Yeah.
And then I chortled when it was like BBC Two, the North Sider.
Why is this on BBC Two? That's so brilliant. Like in this universe, this personal space show, which seems like a local commercial, is on BBC Two.
BBC Two, so good.
Next, check out whatever Jane and the gang are up to on the North Siders. Yeah, that was great.
So good.
As two people who watch Doctor Who and BBC shows, that's exactly what it sounds like at the end of Doctor Who and all BBC shows.
It's like Downton Abbey is on next.
They get this pompous sounding British guy on and previews it. Yeah, doing that tag, like, that's a good idea, but doing it at the end of this one, out of all things, is so great. It's great. And yeah, okay, so I love that one. Next,
that sealed it for me was BBC Two.
I don't know if it's like really related to the rest of it, but okay, I'll take it.
It's just funny. Like, it just makes it better.
Yeah. Okay. Next was the race. We've seen this alien species before. I'm forgetting what they're called, but it's they're having the Olympics thing, and then he races, and then he runs into the wall and he splatters, and they judge him. That was interesting.
And then they all cheered. It was so great.
One thing that I feel like the audience should know, like, this is Justin Roiland improvising these in the recording booth. They do the animation after, based off of what he like says with his voice. So in this one, the joke here, which isn't obvious, like this one doesn't seem that funny when you're watching it, but the joke is that he's just going and they have to animate something to fit his random alien noise. So I doubt he had the Olympics in mind when he was doing that one, right?
It's really funny.
Yes, that's also that related to another one. I wanted to get that out there, but that
Well,
was
it's also just funny in general because, like, everyone likes to watch the Olympics, and you'll be watching something weird like rowing, and you don't even understand what's going on. I understand rowing. That was just the first example I came up with, but you're watching something weird, doesn't even make sense, and then you just cheer.
you're a big rowing fan, eh? Okay.
Shut up. I like rowing.
Noted.
Oh my god.
Then last one I think is Octopus Man. He's a marine biologist.
This one, so
you like this one? Interesting.
I mean, I liked it because he was a marine biologist, but like the way he was talking, I was like, I'm really like, are you cracked out? Like what?
Yeah, why
and
is
and then the driver, and I was like, are you going to kill him? Is he going to kill you? I don't really understand where it's going. And then he gets out of the car and stabs them.
Yeah, he's a marine biologist who's bitten by an octopus, and he's like helping people, but then he just goes stabs random people at the end.
He goes and just murders everyone.
Yeah,
it's very kick-ass-ish.
Interesting. I want to see a Kick-Ass parody. This at the same time, this episode kind of was a Kick-Ass parody. It's like one of the main parodying things this episode is the gratuitous violence, right? So, okay. Then after this, we get the Summers. Does all interdimensional TV have to rely on juvenile violence? And then Morty rants about that, right?
It's so funny.
and then Rick's like, "Whoa, has Catherine Heffelfinger hasn't texted you back yet?" And he's like, "No."
That was really so great.
Who is Catherine Heffelfinger? I want to know more about this. I don't know.
Is this the new Jessica?
Yeah, but Morty still has the picture of Jessica in his locker. We saw that last episode.
I don't know.
So I don't know. What do you think of? What do you think the point is they're saying about violence here is? What is the satirization? Is there any points to be made?
Well, I mean, I feel like the obvious point is that we thought these things were funny, and it's parroting our television, but a lot of our media and things are like are very violent, and it's also making fun of the show because like literally every other episode, everyone's brutally murdered.
Yeah, I think the main point of this was they're making fun of themselves, especially this episode.
Especially the end of this episode.
Yeah, well then, that's the clever part, right? Then they end the episode on kind of a brutally violent thing. But this episode's super reliance punchline wise on just these violent scenes happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, this is kind of a South Parky thing where it's like there's no actual point that they're making. They're just kind of putting some concept out there and not really commenting on it.
Yeah, they're not really commenting on it, but I mean, this episode in general, violence, and then also like sexism, which is my favorite part of the episode.
Okay, well, let's talk about the B plot. Okay.
B-plot, I meant, yeah.
Yeah, so the B plot is this entire thing with Jerry is being requested to have his penis transplanted into Shirley Pimple's alien civil rights leader, best person in the universe's heart. Interesting concept.
Yes.
What are your highlights from this B plot?
The prosthetic was
so like
funny.
There's
the catalog.
What I love about this, like Beth gets the replacement prosthetic catalog, and the typical gag is that she'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is a good idea. Like these are much better, right, than the real thing." Yeah. But it's really subtle. Like it's just her reactions in the animation almost.
Yeah.
That are kind of the
because she's just reading it the whole time.
Yeah, the show is not often subtle, so I liked that, and it's subtle in its humor. So I thought that was good.
It's also really that she was being subtle, despite the fact that Jerry's an idiot and like he wouldn't even have noticed.
What do you think of this? Just the concept of the B plot of it's like, Jerry is unwilling to say that he values his penis more than the best person in the universe, right?
I mean, it's a very Jerry plot, and then of course it gets even more Jerry when he's like, "I want people to like me," and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, at the end it's.
It's like, oh my god, you were so ridiculous.
At the end, it's you can't make people like you. You have to wait for them to stop hating you, or wait for hating them to bore you, says Beth. So there you go. To me, the highlight is so first we have the alien doctor, who is voiced by Gary Cole from Veep and Amogo. I think he's great. He was in Korra for a little bit, and but then Shirley Pimples comes out, and I noticed this the first time I watched it, is voiced by Werner Herzog. Legendary director. Like, what? This is the weirdest voice acting get for this show.
Like, what?
And then Werner Herzog goes on a rant about how much humans value their penises. It's like, this is the big highlight.
That's the highlight. Like,
this is probably the highlight of the episode. Werner Herzog saying, the entire culture is built upon their penises. Hey, look, I'm Mr. So and So Dick. I've got such and such for a penis. Take my it was
so great.
That was pretty wonderful. I wonder how did this even happen? That's my question. How is this a thing?
How does this go? How do you go about?
How did this get made? This episode. That's what I want to see. How did this get made on this episode?
The process.
Yeah. What else? What other big takeaways are there? I like when so then Jerry charges into when Shirley Pimples is having his surgery. I like that what? I'm skipping over things.
Okay.
If you because we're running long, but I like the nano doctor and the nano scalpel.
I really like the nano doctor.
That seems like a good idea.
That was funny.
That I feel like that's a thing in alien technology.
It is.
What things did I skip over?
When he was like, "Here, don't look at the top secret files."
Oh, yeah.
Here, I would assume you want to use your penis one last time.
Yeah, then brings up the alien porn, which is really weird looking. Yeah,
that was really funny.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jerry being an idiot and, like, the heroin thing. He's like, oh, I'm really gonna, like, it's an alien.
Yeah, he can't
conceptualize
that might not go how he thinks. Yeah. And Jerry charges in with the gun, but Beth is like, no, that's the XP20XS. That line read from Beth was Beth's voice actress. I feel like that was pretty good. Yeah. And then they shoot him 57 times. But it's a super sophisticated alien hospital, so it was like removing a splinter. What was your reaction when Jerry was just getting shot and it was like really graphic? And it wasn't really the show. I don't know. Did you think that was funny when it was happening? I don't think it was supposed to be funny.
It wasn't like funny. I was just more of like, how are they going to fix this one?
And no, it's just fine. Yeah. I actually thought for a second, I was like, oh, are they actually going to kill Jerry off? That's like, I was like, whoa, this would be a great development for the show because we have complained about them relying on Jerry plotlines way too much. This would like shake up the dynamic. Like the family B plots are getting stale, but no, he's fine.
Fine.
This was, if they're going to resolve that in some way, then I feel like this was a good way. Just have it happen. It's like, oh, it makes sense. It was an alien hospital, right? Yeah. And then this relates to the violence rant before, right? So.
And then it didn't matter in the end.
But what was interesting was I don't know if this was like supposed to be this big humor gag, right? I mean, I'm not the biggest person in the world on violence humor, but despite me finding it funny in this episode, so. But I don't know. I didn't think Jerry getting shot was necessarily played for laughs. Like I feel like it was maybe more supposed to be shocking.
Well, yeah, I think it was supposed to be shocking. I mean, they played up, like, how it was, like, it was slow motion, like, he's, like, half naked, but I don't think it was played up for laughs.
Yeah.
Especially since, everyone was watching it. Because Beth and Summer were both there, and then Morty and Rick were watching it on TV.
It was on the Interdimensional Cable, yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm not sure what.
I don't think it was played up for laughs. I mean, the only part is like, haha, it's Jerry.
The satire is unclear to me with this whole violence thing, as I said before. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it wasn't necessarily played up that it was Jerry, just in general, like that we had like this gratuitous violence right here in a hospital.
Yeah.
In the operating room.
Mm-hmm. And then after we get Beth's thing about Jerry commenting on a YouTube video or replying on there, which is pretty great.
Really funny.
It was pretty good. And then Jerry's whole thing about people not liking him, and then he's like, "Let's go to the zoo," and then they're like, "Wow, that's." Then everyone just gets really sad, which is like really good because that's always what happens that's always what should happen when someone suggests going to the zoo. So there you go.
That was really funny.
Yeah, that was good. The stinger is, as we mentioned, going back to Rick's cupboard. Jerry takes out the eye holes. And then Eye Hole Man comes in through the window, like as was said earlier by Rick.
So he will come through the window and beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, and then that happens. That was good.
I loved it.
As I said, I like that it's.
I was hoping that was going to be the stinger.
I like that it's a callback to the cupboard. Yeah, even though the Eye Hole Man is just a really weird idea.
I mean, it's the fridge. There's a second drawer in the fridge. It's
the fridge. Oh yeah, the freezer. Oh, so
but it's also funny that he has. It's also funny that they have like a cupboard full of alien things. Like it's funny.
The Sanchez household. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Other things that we didn't talk about from this episode.
I don't think so.
I think we got most of it, yeah. So overall, I would say I don't know if we want to rank it. It's harder to rank this one compared to the other episodes, but
I mean, I think this was like I liked this episode a bit more than I liked like last week's. From like a humor perspective, like it was much funnier.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what last week's?
Was there an episode last week? What was the week we skipped?
No, that was the week before that. Last week was Big Trouble in Little Sanchez, yeah.
Yes.
And, I mean, to me, the low points of the season are 5, 3, and 7, last week's. And I think this is in that. This is now the 4th one. So, like, there's...
This is at least, like, I don't know, it was at least funnier.
I guess. Yeah, I'm less high on it than you, but which is fine.
I was just amused by it. Like, I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I laughed consistently.
The problem for me, though, is that there's been 4 less than stellar episodes now, and there's been 4 great episodes, right? So the show's only batting 500 this season, so it's just not great.
Yeah.
It was much more consistent, I think, in season 1.
I definitely, and like they were just like higher, like I don't know, they were just better.
Yeah, expecting big things from the last 2 for sure.
Please, like, and I want more like high sci-fi concepts.
Well, I think we're getting it next week because next week the whole entire preview is about it being the Purge. It's called "Look Who's Purging Now."
Yes.
And I don't know how are they going to sustain.
It also looks very, and we're also seeing we're again talking about it, like we're kind of hinting at Back to the Future because when I first saw it, that's what I thought it was Back to the Future 3.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it's like very cowboy-esque.
Yeah, it's like Western, but the Purge is interesting. Okay, yeah. We'll see where that goes. The previews are not necessarily representative of, because like the preview for this one was just the first 10 seconds, and then okay.
The Purge might last like 2 minutes, and then who knows what's gonna happen?
Who knows what the B plot is, and then of course we're very much looking to the last episode of the season, the Wedding Squanchers. Squanchy back. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Dylan Hysen, that's Delaney Stovall. You can find everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com, and you can support us at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Big thanks to our current patrons. Wherever I'm keeping this. Oh, there you go. Here it is. Shayna, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, and Jamie, a.k.a. Hannah, Fever, Mitch, Cordell, University, Beatrice Lestrange, Buzz Lightyear, and Mailman. And like I said, you can check out our podcast on YouTube now, link at overlyanimated.com. And we'll be back next week with more Rick and Morty discussion on Look Who's Purging Now. Tonight we've got a new Gravity Falls episode, Thursday New Steven Universe. We'll probably also cover Moonbeam City again. And yeah, that's where we're right now. Last thoughts?
Nope, it was just funny.
Yep, goodish episode. Expecting big things next week now, though.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.